High School and Alumni, and today we're speaking with Jess Leaming.
Hi.
Hi, Jess.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for making the time today. I know that you graduated quite a while ago, so you will have fitted a lot into your life since leaving Geelong High School in 2012. And now that we're in the time of coronavirus and our second lockdown phase, I thought we could just touch base and have a recap on what you've done since leaving school, how you're going, whether or not you've had reflections on what you've learned, and any tips for getting through this ISO life that we lead. So I might ask you a couple of questions. And
no worries. Yeah, fantastic. It has been a while since I've been at school, actually. Yeah.
But I understand you were a school captain and you graduated in 2012. What have you done since leaving Geelong High School?
That's such a broad question. What have I done since leaving high school? There's so many things to jam pack into. I suppose it's about like 8 years since I was at school last. So, well, I started off with a Bachelor of Primary Education with middle years pathway at Deakin University. So I kind of went straight into that. I figured if I didn't go straight into university out of school, I probably wouldn't go, or I'd possibly keep pushing it back. I'm kind of that person. And I'd rather just got it over and done with, because I mean, education and teaching, it is and was my backup option. I am a very arts-driven person, and especially performing arts and acting and that kind of thing. So my parents and the school kind of suggested maybe having a bit of a backup option, not to give up and push aside my dream and my passions for acting, but try and sort of have that balance. And so there is something for me to go to in between jobs, because acting is unfortunately one of those things where you don't necessarily get work all the time.
Formal study in teaching, teaching, and pursuing your passion in a work-wise. And now I'm sure you've got a bit of a mix between the two, or you have done at some point.
Yeah, so, I pushed through with my 4-year degree, and post that, I guess I was ready to start going into the acting side of thing. I never really went straight into full-time teaching work. I have had opportunities that have come up. So I did a part-time teaching position at Ballet Primary School, where I did performing arts teaching. So that kind of just came about. They were after someone, I was available, did that for a little bit. And then I moved. I've decided now is the kind of the right time for me to start getting into it. I think the isolation thing has kind of helped me realize that I'm kind of ready to move on. Yeah, like I like teaching. And I like substituting, because I like seeing so many different people and being able to come and go and see different schools, see different students. But yeah, it's not something that I will possibly do for the rest of my life, or maybe something that I'll come back to more strongly in life when I'm older, if I want to settle down. But I think time while I'm young still to like go off and try new things. And I think isolation's definitely helped me to realise that.
That's right. And I think what can really benefit is us learning about your pathway and what you learnt at school and how it's standing you in good stead now.
Yeah.
So having that solid degree behind you, plus some teaching experience, plus following your creative passion and having that vocational work experience, to now, does that feel like a platform that you can launch yourself off going forward?
Yeah, and I think they all go hand in hand as well. I'm like lucky I chose a career that through teaching, I mean, you can make that creative, and you can find creative aspects within it, and it's quite a stable career pathway.
There is that variety, and I think nowadays people don't expect to have one job forever and one career.
No.
That there is that preparation whilst you're at high school to think, what is my double-pronged approach, or is it a triple-pronged approach? And to have that means that you're actually running the plan, even though it looks like you're dipping in and out, but you're actually working and progressing these two things at the same time.
Yeah.
So can I ask you, what have you been doing during ISO to keep yourself reflective and positive?
A a show per se called Jess Attempts, and it was me, Jess, attempting to do different things each week. And I was driving my family nuts with that because I am at home at the moment. And so some of those things were like poetry. I've never really done poetry before, so I thought, let's do an attempt of poetry. I camped in my backyard. I played piano. I baked something. I don't know. Most of the episodes I would get a friend or someone I knew involved in filming it with me, so they'd teach me a skill and I'd try it. So I was trying to, in the first lockdown, work on trying new things and just putting myself out there, because we are so isolated and stuck and there's not much else to do. So why not take this time to learn new skills? And this isolation, I'm not doing the Jess Attempts anymore. That was enough. I did like 20 episodes. Whereas now I'm kind of sort of taking a bit more time for me personally and going more inward. I'm surfing a bit at the moment, which I haven't done in a few years. I think it's really important to note that for the people watching at home, whoever is watching this video, is that you got to do you. At the start, first isolation, I kind of just lounged a lot. And that was fine for then. And I was quite comfortable in that. And I kind of needed that at that time. But this isolation, for me now, I've just wanted to keep fit, keep healthy, do a little bit of physical activity each day just to sort of brighten my mood a bit and feel better about myself. So,
I love that. I think that's so good. A really great message to be good at being you and recognise that there are different versions of you and make the most of those at that right time. Yeah. And I think another thing that you and I talked about it in the last call was your project Sitting Ducks, where you've been filming. Another comment you made to me about being you is that if you say you're going to start something and do it, that you must finish it.
Yeah.
I understand that you haven't quite finished, but you haven't let go either. Am I right? And have you got any messages in there for our current students that might need to have, you know, a long period of sticking at it to make it?
School is that. Like, and most of my life has been that. So school, I mean, I'm not I wouldn't say highly intelligent person. Like, it would, for me, for academics to stick, I just had to work hard. And that's something that my family has also ingrained in me as well. Like, you know, we work hard to get what we want. Just because, you know, things don't always come easy to some people, and that's completely fine. Most people are gonna have that. And so for me, since through high school, through university, I've just worked hard. There was many times, of course, where I couldn't be bothered anymore, especially in year 12. Like, you're studying all year, and then you get to your exams at the end of the year, and you're kind of done by that point. You're like, stuff this, like, can we just have it, like, can it just be over now? Like, you kind of get quite over it. But I think it's just so important that when you feel like that and in those moments, just to keep pushing through, because there is an end. It does finish, and then the new chapter starts. And I think it of life a little bit like that. It's constantly just chapter after chapter. With university, I felt like being like, stuff this teaching thing as well. Like, can't really bother. I don't know if I really want to be a teacher for the rest of my life, but at the same time, I knew it would help me in the long run. Sometimes it is good to know when enough's enough and when you do need to give up or move on or change pathways. But for me, like, you know, teaching, I'm very happy that I managed to complete that. And that's like a big achievement for me. And Sitting Ducks is my web series, is something that I have not finished yet. It's been about a 2-year process. And I'm getting there. It's getting there. It's so close to being finished. And everyone's volunteered their time to be a part of the project. And with volunteer based projects, like, they do take a bit longer because you've got people working and doing university and things with their time as well. So it's a lot of patience, hard work, and just surrounding yourself with people that, you know, are going to uplift you as well, not just...
That's a really good comment about that collective energy, isn't it? And goal setting is another theme that I can hear through your comments. given I have read about you and I haven't met you face to face other than
It's
over but I can see that you are a goal setter. And I hope you don't use too much of that self-limiting language at times about
no,
your abilities. I like that you're trying to line yourself up with a realistic version of you, but I can see that you obviously are extremely intelligent. You are a goal setter. You are a go-getter. And I can't imagine life keeping you down, maybe for one day.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, like everyone has their ups and downs. And I guess like people put out what they want to be perceived as well. And so I think everyone, like even if they are generally a happy go-getter person, they do have their down days. And I think it's important to acknowledge that. And I think it's important to acknowledge that because I do all these things with my life and I'm very proactive, I also have down days. Yeah. So yes, I try not to limit myself. I try not to be negative about myself in regards to when I talk about myself, but I also try to be a little bit more realistic at the same time. But that doesn't stop me from going and doing it and doing what I want.
And I think there's a real balance I can hear from you is that something that you obviously have is a lot of internal drive, but you gain energy from others. So potentially reasonably extroverted, and that might be why you say you're missing your friends, but you're having to use your internal energy stores to keep you going. And I hope that our current students at Geelong High School can keep fueling their own internal energy so that when they come out at the end of the term and at the end of the year, and that we can get back to our new usual life in coronavirus, that they can be proud of their achievements and
for sure. Yeah, for sure. I could not honestly imagine having to do year 12 in a time like this. Like it was hard enough doing it in 2012 when I did it back then. Like I juggled so many things in year 12. It was kind of ridiculous. I overload myself with like school captain and the school production and things like that. But keep it up. You guys are like so close. You're so close to the end. And yeah, I mean, I am an extrovert, but I've discovered I've become a bit of an introvert lately too.
You've gotten to know yourself even better.
Yeah, things change, and it's good
They do, and it's good to have a bit of time after finishing school. And I know that other people that are further along in their careers, maybe in their 40s, and they reflect back on a job that they might have had for, 5 years, around 30, that they say, wow, yeah, I can, a little bit of distance and time between me and that role. I can see now that I did, if I had the chance to do it again, I might soften some edges, or I might focus a bit more on this. And I can hear you saying things like that in our conversation here about knowing yourself, being realistic, keeping your internal energy and fire alight, and also reaching out to others and enjoying the ride and having fun with people and sharing that journey.
Like be mindful of what you can do with this time, not what I can't do. And it's sort of like that sort of frame of mind that's sort of important to go into. And yeah, sorry, linking back to sort of what you were saying, that, people go from job to job and things like that, and your learnings, like, yeah, see where life takes you. Like, I don't know, I've done so many jobs in the last 8 years, so many different jobs. Like I've been in an acting studio and that as well, and that has like sort of been that balance between teaching and acting, where I've learned all these skills, and then that's forwarded me into deciding to direct for a bit. And don't be afraid to change, or see if your goals or your aspirations change. Like that's okay. I was worried there that I wasn't going to enjoy acting anymore, but now I've given it a break. Sometimes you need those breaks, I think, that you were saying, to sort of find that shift again and figure out, do I want to do that, or do I want to do something else?
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you for our conversation today.